Assalamu alaikum. In this video, I will explain trigonometric functions problems. Important problem in October 21 and October 19. Some problem the student really get confused about some points in these problems. So I will explain it here. And inshallah, you will understand it. Let's start with the first question. First question is related to B1 October 21. In the beginning of any question, if you have any figure, you have to take a look to this figure in the beginning. For example, when you see this figure, you can think about sine or cosine or tan, whatever. No, this one is cosine. Why this one is cosine? Because it starts with value at x equal to 0. So I think about cosine in this case. Okay. Let's start to read the problem. He say figure 2 shows a sketch of the curve with equation y equal to fx, where fx equal cosine 2x. Then this curve is related to cosine, as we said, but not cosine x, it is cosine 2x. Okay, in the beginning, you have to think about the actual cosine. The actual cosine. What is the meaning of actual cosine? Cosine x, not cosine 2x, not cosine anything, just cosine x. What if you think about cosine x? Cosine x mean you start here is 1 and the minimum value is -1. يبقى the maximum and the minimum point for the cosine is 1 and the -1. This is related to y-axis. What about x-axis? Actually, here it should be 90 degree, and here 180 degree, 270 degree, and the final one 360, which is called this part from here to here. It's called complete cycle. It's called complete cycle. Complete cycle mean it will be repeated after that. Okay, so this is one called complete cycle, and this from 0 to 360, this called period. But the period of cosine x is 360. But this called the period, which is mean complete cycle. Okay, so what about r? Actually, here the step from here to here is 90, so r it will be 450. Okay, this is the actual one that you already know about it. But the given data is not cosine x. It is cosine 2x. What is the difference between cosine x and cosine 2x? No, cosine 2x mean all values of x must be divided by 2. Here, you cannot say 90, you cannot say 180. Instead of 90, it will be 45. At this point, it will be 45. And here, this point, it will be 90 degree because divided by 2. Here, it will be 135. And here, it will be 180. And at this point, instead of 450, it will be 225 degree. So you have to erase or remove all values you already put it before regarding x-axis because it's already changed from the actual value to different value, which is divided by 2. So in the beginning, you have to think about the actual one that you already know about it, cosine x, which is the period is 360, and -1 and 1 and so on. This is normal cosine. But next step, you have to think about what about the given data. The given data here, cosine 2x. Cosine 2x mean you have to divide all values of x by 2. This is the point. So you get all values of all points in the diagram now. Here he say the point Q and the point R, K0 lie on the curve and are shown in the figure. You have 2 points. Here he mentioned about point Q and he mentioned point R. The first question, state the coordinate of Q. Actually, state is a keyword. Keyword for what? State mean you can write your answer directly without any working out. But there is no working out for Q. And no working out for K, for example. He just need the value. When he said state or whatever mention, then No working out, you can get it directly from the diagram and write it here. The coordinate of Q, as you see here, we have x-axis which is 90 and the y-axis which is -1. But in this case, you have to write directly it is 90 degree and -1. What about K? Actually, K, it is the last point. It is the x-axis for point R. It is x-axis for point R. Where is point R? Point R is here. X-axis 225. يبقى you have K equal to 225 degree. Question B, he say, given that there are exactly two solutions to the equation. Two solution mean intersection, okay? Intersection between what? Intersection between cosine 2x and p, okay? What's p? Find the range of possible values of p. B is constant. B is constant, so you have to get the range of value of p. You need range of value of p. Actually, when you just equal cosine 2x is a curve. Cosine 2x is a curve. B, because B is constant, يبقى this means line. يبقى B is line. طب which line? Actually, if you have any two equations and you need to get the intersection between them, you have to solve them simultaneously. How can you solve it simultaneously? If you have, for example, y1 equal x plus 2 and y equal 3 over 4x plus 5 and so on. And you can call the first one y1 and the second is y2. How can you solve it simultaneously? Actually, you can put this value instead of y. يبقى actually you put y and y. You put y instead of y. In this case, this means you have curve y1 and another curve y2. You have two different curves in this case. Okay, how can you solve it? Actually, y2 equal b, this means it is a straight line. Straight line. Where is the straight line? Okay, let us draw any straight line. Insert straight line here. This is straight line. And this straight line should be horizontal line. Should be horizontal line. Why? Because b is constant, so it will be horizontal line. Okay, horizontal line here, this is a curve of cosine 2x. This horizontal line, for example, at this point, just intersect at one point. But what if I go up like that? It will be intersect at 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, and so on, 2 points, 2 points. When I just coincident with x-axis, it will be 3 point. Okay, it will be 3 point. And if you continue, it will be 3 point. So the value of b, just a second to get the line. Need to catch the line. Okay. Okay. Over here, this line cut at one point. If you draw another line here, another line, make it a little bit longer. Okay, it will be 2 points. Over here, you cut at 2 points. Over here, the value of b start from -1 up to 0. But actually, you have to between 0 and -1, not equal, because if b equal to -1, you intersect at 1 point. If b equal to 0, intersect at 3 points. Your point must be between -1 and 0. Okay, so the range of b, in this case, the range of b must be greater than -1 and less than 0. And if you write it like that, you get just 1 point from 2. Why? Why I deduct 1 point from you? Because there is another point at which you have two solution and the two intersection point. Where these 2 points? Okay, because I said if you go up here, you have 3 points, right? But go up at this point. What's happening at this point? At this point, you have two intersection point up here and there. You have two intersection point. يبقى b equal 1 give you another intersection point, another 2 intersection point. يبقى in this case, you have to write b equal to 1. How can you write your answer? You can write it like that and put union in between. Sometimes you can, instead of union, you can write just and. But it will be much better if you write it b bigger than -1 less than 0. union b equal to 1. This is how can you write your answer, and this is the answer of this question. Okay, here the second question is October 19. As I mentioned before, you have to take a look about the diagram first. This diagram, as you see, it is sine wave. Okay, the sine wave start at 0, then this value is 90 degree, and here is 180 degree, and here which is 270 and 360 degree. Okay. Okay, this is sine. When we read the problem, he say figure 5 shows the sketch of the part curve C with equation y equal to sine x over 12, where x is measured in radian. Okay, but this is very important. He said here x is measured in radian. You cannot write your data like that, for example, x-axis in degree like that. Okay, how can I write it then? You have to write it in radian. How? Here, instead of this point 90, it will be pi over 2. And here it will be pi. Here 3 pi over 2. And here it will be 2 pi. But you have to write it like that. And as you see here, the period of a sine axis, sine wave is 2 pi, 360 or 2 pi. This is a period of sine wave. But when you read the problem, actually it's not sine x. It's not normal one. Because he write here x over 12. يبقى not like that. Okay, طب how can I put the values of angle, for example, here and the value of whatever y-axis? Here, y-axis here, the maximum value is 1 and the minimum already is -1. This is 1 and the -1. So what about the angle? Actually, the angle x is opposite way. X work as opposite way. For example, x divided by 12. But you have to multiply all x value by 12. Okay? But if you multiply pi over 2 times 12, it will be 6 pi. Pi times 12, it will be 12 pi. 3 pi over 2 times 12, it will be 18 pi. 2 pi times 12, it will be 24 pi. And remove all other value, which in red color, remove it. Okay, your value will be like that. This is 24 pi, 18 pi, and 12 pi, 6 pi, and here is 0. This is the value of x-axis that you have. Why you have to change it? Because it's not sine x. It is sine x over 12. Then you have to multiply all x values by 12. This is your diagram. The first one, he say, state the period of C. As we mentioned, the period is angle for complete cycle. Complete cycle. The diagram give you already complete cycle. Okay, this complete cycle through what? Through 24 pi. The period is here is 24 pi. The answer is period equal 24 pi. State the coordinate of M. Okay. Where is M? Okay, M is here. You already know that the y-axis for M, it is -1. But what about x-axis? It is 18 pi. But the coordinate of the point M is 18 pi and the -1. Then 18 pi and the -1. This is the answer for coordinate M. He mentioned that the smallest positive solution of the equation sine x over 12 equal k, where k is constant, is alpha. Okay, so the answer here is alpha. What is the meaning of alpha? If you go to the diagram here, you can find at x equal alpha, whatever x-axis alpha, you can find sine equal to k. So sine alpha equal to K. Instead of alpha, he give you sine x over 12 equal to K. Okay, so alpha here represent what? Actually, x alpha here represented the value of x but multiplied by 12. Multiplied by 12 because this diagram represented the angle multiplied by 12. So you should understand that all values of angle on the x-axis here should multiply by 12. For example, instead of 2 pi at the end here, it is 24 pi. But anything that you already have it in normal case should be multiplied by 12. This is very important point. You should think about it. Okay. But here sine alpha A, sine alpha equal to K from the diagram. Okay. He say about the question, find in terms of A, of alpha. This is alpha, by the way. This is alpha. It is a Greek letter. Alpha. Find in terms of alpha the negative solution of the equation sine x over 12 equal k that is closest to 0. What is the meaning of negative solution? Negative solution mean, for example, this is x-axis. If you're going to this direction, alpha is positive. If you're going to this direction, alpha, it will be negative. يبقى he need your answer but on the left side. طب how can I get the left side? Just extend your sketch like that. Extend your sketch like that. Okay. طيب. Here, this is alpha and this is k. طيب. K can be repeated as well. K here. This is a value of k. طيب. What about the angle in the left side? Actually, I need the angle here. This is a negative sign. Okay. This is a negative one. Here, he need this angle. What is the value of this angle? If you look carefully to this diagram, you can find this part equal to alpha. And this point in the top here, it is 12 pi. يبقى this one, it is negative 12 pi. يبقى this angle is negative 12 pi negative alpha. يبقى this value of angle, it is negative 12 pi negative alpha. يبقى this is the angle which give you same answer, which is k. يبقى to answer the value of sine x over 12 equal k, but in negative sign, it should be, he need the answer in alpha, okay? It should be negative alpha, negative 12 pi. يبقى this is CI. يبقى CI here, it will be negative alpha, negative 12 pi. Double I. What is the next question? The next question, he say the smallest positive, he need positive, okay, in the right side, okay. Positive solution of the equation cosine x over 12k. Okay, this is another point. What is this point? Actually, he talk about cosine, not talking about sine. I need cosine, not sine, but I need cosine to give you the same answer of k. Okay? Okay, طب when sine equal cosine, when sine equal cosine, because sine x over 12 equal k, and cosine x equal over 12, whatever angle equal k. Okay. There is a rule regarding sine and cosine. This rule say sine theta equal cosine pi over 2 minus theta. This is formula related the relation between sine and cosine. They are equal according to this formula. You can try if you want, if you would like to try. For example, if you write sine 30, for example, sine 30 degree equal to half. Okay. What about cosine 90 minus 30? It will be cosine 60, which is equal to half. But this means sine theta equal cosine pi over 2. I wrote here pi over 2 because all of this example is related to radian, not degree. Okay, but I just give you a very quick example related to degree to understand what is the relation between sine and cosine. Okay, if you return back to the diagram here, this diagram is sine. طيب if it is cosine, how can I get the answer? Actually, there is another one student write about it is 90 or pi over 2 minus alpha, because if theta is alpha, so this is pi over 2 minus alpha, because you said here alpha, right? Okay, but alpha in this diagram is not like theta. Why? Because in this diagram, x-axis multiplied by 12. يبقى all of this axis multiplied by 12. For example, 90 degree here, 90 degree equal what? 90 degree over pi over 2. No, it's pi over 2 times 12, which is 6 pi. If you return back to the very beginning, here, this is 6 pi. يبقى 90 here equivalent to this diagram, 6 pi. You cannot write, for example, to answer this question, you cannot write pi over 2. Pi over 2, this is wrong. Why? Because equivalent to 6 pi minus alpha, because the diagram is related to 6 pi and whatever, 12 pi and 24 pi. يبقى 90 equivalent to 6 pi. It's very important to understand this point, because it's not normal 90. It depends on your diagram. If your diagram is 90, okay. But if your diagram, the 90 is not 90, it is 6 pi, which is equivalent to the normal diagram by 90. So you have to write 6 pi. يبقى here, you have to think about your diagram. Your diagram here is 90. This is 90. No, this 6 pi. يبقى actually to make a shift or whatever, to make 90 minus theta or whatever, you have to use it as equivalent on this diagram, which is 6 pi. It should be 6 pi, not 90 degree. This is the answer of this question, okay? The third question is related to John 22, which is this is the diagram, and this is the question. Okay, regarding the diagram, as he wrote here, he write y equals sine x. This is normal sine. What is the meaning of normal sine? Normal sine mean this is value 0, and this value is 90 degree, and this value is 180 degree, and here 270 degree, here 360 degree. And the same here, negative 90 and the negative 180, negative 360 degree. Okay, this is the value of angle. Okay, let us see what he needs. Figure 4 shows part of the graph of the curve with equation y equals sine, given that sine alpha equal to b, where alpha bigger than 0 and less than 90 degree. This is similar regarding the previous example, but here alpha is bigger than 0, less than 90. It is acute angle. And here he already gave you the angle in degree, so you can write the angle in degree on the x-axis as I wrote here. Okay, alpha is acute angle because it's from 0 to 90, and the sine alpha equal to b. You can come here, for example, and write alpha. Alpha is here, and give you b. Okay, but this is alpha, and this is b. Okay, state in terms of b the value of 2 sine 180 minus alpha. Okay, actually, you have to think about the angle. Where is this angle? 180 minus alpha. 180 minus alpha, you can come to this diagram, and 180 minus alpha, 180 minus alpha. 180 minus alpha should be here. Look. This value is alpha. 180 minus alpha at this point. This point is 180 minus alpha degree. Okay? It gives you what? It gives you the same value of b. The same value of b. And you should understand this value. It's very important formula or very important rule. Sine x equal to sine 180 minus x. It is very important rule. We use it already in radian and the trigonometric function in chapter 3, chapter 4 and 5. Okay, so it's very important to remind this relation: sine x equal to sine 180 minus x. If you put x, for example, 30, then sine 30 equals sine 150, which is the same value. Here sine 180 minus alpha, it's equal to b. Okay, so you can write this value equal 2 times b. This is the answer of 2 sine 180 minus alpha. طب what about sine alpha minus 180? Here you have to going to the left side. Why going to the left side? Because alpha is acute angle negative 180. It will be negative sine. Okay, طيب. 180 plus here. Look, this is the point. This is the point. Here, this value is alpha. Okay, about negative 180 plus alpha, or alpha negative 180, it will be this point. Actually, this point is equal to negative b. Negative b. Okay, so that because the curve is downward here, so it will be negative b, not b anymore. But at this part, you can write this value equal to negative b. Type. What about the last third one? 3 plus sine 180 degree plus alpha. 180 plus alpha. Okay, let us go up. 180 plus alpha, يبقى the alpha is here. The alpha is here. 180 plus alpha, يبقى this point. This point equal to, if you're going to from here to there, give you negative b as well. يبقى this value give you negative b. 180 plus alpha, it will be negative. Here you can write this value equal to 3 negative b. This is how can you get the answer from the diagram. Okay, a copy of figure 4 labeled diagram 1 is shown on page 27. Okay, on diagram 1, sketch y is equal to sine 2x. You need to draw sine 2x. Actually, the sketch is related to sine x. Okay, what is the meaning of sine 2x? Sine 2x mean you have to divide the angle by 2. Divide the angle by 2. For example, if you draw it, this is your sine wave. Okay, type. Actually, the sine wave is related to 360, and from 0 to 360. Actually, you have to divide it by 2. It will be like that. Look, it will be like that. Okay, a second to make sure. Okay. Here, if you have any angle, for example, any angle 360 here, but when you divide it by 2, it will be 180 degree. Okay, top here, it will be 90 degree. Okay, you divide all angles by, divided by all angles by 2. This is your sketch. You have to continue the sketch, complete the sketch, because your sketch should be complete to this diagram to 360. He need what? He need from 0 up to 1. Okay, not this one. He don't sketch a diagram. Okay, he need a diagram in all diagram. We should make a copy like that, and a copy like that. Okay, you should draw your sketch like that from the beginning up to end, and put your whatever you put your here to 70, and here negative 180. Here is negative 90. Here is negative 360, and so on. Okay. Here the step, instead of the step 90, it will be step 180. It will be step 90. Here, for example, from this point to this point, it will be 90, 180, 270, and 360. Here 90, negative 180, negative 270, and 360. This is how can you draw sine 2x. Sine 2x, this is sine 2x. Then the difference between sine x and sine 2x, sine 2x divided the angle by 2, divided the angle by 2. This is the difference between them. Okay, يبقى we finished the sketch. Hence, find that in terms of alpha, the x coordinate of any point in the interval x0 to 180, where sine 2x equal 2b. Okay. Here in the very beginning, we said what? We said sine alpha equal to b. Okay, but this one is related to normal case, sine x. يبقى here x equal what? X equal alpha, right? طيب. But now he sketch another thing. He write sine 2x equal what? Equal b. Okay, يبقى instead of alpha, he write 2x. Instead of alpha, he write 2x. Okay, so this 2x equal what? Equal alpha. Okay, so you cannot write like that. We need to get the value of b for new one. For new one. Okay, type new case, which is red color here. Here, look. Let me make it larger to make you understand how can I get it. Okay. If this value is b, and here is alpha, what about this one? Actually, the difference between black and red, the black is normal 1. The red is the normal divided by 2. يبقى here, this angle is divided by 2. يبقى this angle is alpha over 2. Okay? يبقى I get it like that. يبقى here, you can write, instead of this one, you can write alpha equal, or whatever, 2x in this case equal alpha, then x equal alpha over 2. يبقى this is the solution. But actually, he need the solution from where to where? Actually, he needs the solution from 0 to 180 for the red color. For the red color. Actually, you have another one. You have another one. Where? You have another one here. Look, you have another one at this point here. But you have 2 points, this point and this point. Okay, so what about this one? What about this one? Actually, this one is equivalent to this one. This one is equal to what? This one is equal 180 minus alpha, right? But now it's not 180 minus alpha. It is divided by 2 because it is transformed from the black line into red line. But in this case, instead of writing alpha, it will be alpha over 2. And instead of writing 180 minus alpha, it will be 180 minus alpha over 2. But your answer in this case, just a second. Your answer in this case, instead of alpha, it will be alpha over 2. And instead of 180 minus alpha, it will be x equal to 90 minus alpha over 2. But this is the answer number 2. But you have to answer in this one, x equal to alpha over 2 and x equal to 90 minus alpha over 2. How can you get it? Actually, you have to compare between the line, the black line and red line. For this reason, he asked you to sketch it on the same diagram to make sure you understand the difference between black line and red line. But the black line, it is the same and identical to the red line, but instead of normal scale, it will be same scale but divided by 2. But anything you get it in black, you have to divide it by 2 to be in red color. But to get in any value equal to b here, for example, equal to b, يبقى sin alpha equal to b when alpha divided by 2 for the red color. So what about the second point here? It will be, instead of writing 180 minus alpha, it will be divided by 2 to be on the red color, because any value for the red color, it should be divided by 2. Okay, يبقى you have 2 different solutions here, one at alpha over 2 and one is 90 minus alpha over 2. Yeah, this is the last question. This is the last question, I think. Okay, this last question, and I hope you can understand whatever you get here. And if you don't understand anything, just let me know and I will explain anything that you need. But write in the comment below, write whatever you need in the comment below this video, and I can make another video and explain more about this problem. And if you have any more problems or doubts you need to solve, you can send me any message and I can make another video, or I can solve it and send it to you uh, as a message. Okay, thank you for watching and see you next video inshallah. Salam alaikum.